Because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down.
Consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year has clearly given him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries.
Boxing experts are raising concerns over a key flaw in Terence Crawford's latest training footage. Analyst Gareth, who initially favored Crawford to defeat Canelo Alvarez, has changed his stance. As the fight draws closer, he now leans toward Canelo, predicting that Crawford will be hit with power he's never faced before. This shift reflects growing doubts about Crawford's ability to withstand Canelo's strength and compete at the sport's elite level.
Early on, very close rounds in the first 3 or 4. We'll be divided on who's winning. I think Canelo will get going in the second third of the fight and land some big shots. I think Crawford will look good as well. Rounds 6 to 9, we'll be looking at who's getting ascendancy in the fight. Crawford will have weathered the storm of the big Canelo punches, countered himself, still close rounds. I think Canelo will push away and, in my view, will win the fight. Because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for. And I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down. And if he does go down, he'll get up. I think it'll be a very, very close affair. And I think even if in those last 6 rounds, Crawford's got Canelo's number in terms of movement and timing, I still think if it's very close in rounds, I think it'll either be a draw or a narrow points decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez that everybody feels is very controversial, and then they'll do it again. That's how I see it playing. That's the plot, if you like, with the subplots in the drama of one of the biggest fights we've seen in Vegas.
Gennady Golovkin's trainer has issued a bold prediction, warning that Terence Crawford may struggle with stamina at the higher weight class. He suggests Crawford could begin to fade as early as the 4th round due to the sudden increase in body mass and added muscle, which may slow him down. Having never competed at this weight before, Crawford faces a steep adjustment. The trainer explains that carrying extra weight can sap a fighter's energy, cause early fatigue, and lead to frustration. If Crawford fails to manage his pacing, he risks burning out before the fight even reaches the middle rounds.
Triple G's former trainer said that Crawford's gonna be quick in the first 4 rounds, but once Canelo figures him out and actually starts hitting Terence Crawford, in which Sanchez described as, quote, like a huge truck hitting him, it'll be game over for Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford may not have the legs for someone like Canelo in the 168-pound division. Sanchez also added that if Canelo was eventually going to be Crawford's endgame, then Crawford should have jumped weight divisions a while back. Now, Crawford could have technically done that after the Spence fight. However, his once-a-year fight schedule prevented that from happening.
Rumors are swirling that Terence Crawford may have sustained a shoulder injury during training for his upcoming bout with Canelo Alvarez. Though unconfirmed, even the suggestion of such an issue has raised alarms among fans and analysts alike. It's a particularly troubling development, given that Crawford's career has been marked by a careful pace, usually 1 or 2 fights per year, allowing ample time for recovery and peak performance. This time, however, the quick turnaround hasn't offered that luxury. If the injury is real, any lingering discomfort could carry into fight night. In boxing, shoulder health is critical, affecting everything from punching speed and accuracy to blocking and distance control. Even a minor strain could blunt Crawford's power and slow his reflexes, making it harder to earn Canelo's respect in the ring. Beyond the physical limitations, such an injury can also take a mental toll. A cautious or hesitant Crawford is at a serious disadvantage against a heavy-handed, pressure-focused opponent like Canelo. Entering the ring anything less than 100% healthy makes an already high-stakes challenge even more dangerous, where even the slightest misstep could be costly.
Voluntary training camp and in every single solitary fight. A guy that is as old as Terence Crawford, 37, 38 years old, is going to have some type of injuries. They're going to have some type of old nagging type of stuff, especially a guy that works as ridiculously hard as Terence Crawford does. That was just a matter of time before wear and tear is going to start going and things are going to start popping off and going wrong, right? Also, you can tell that the reason that this is kind of consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries and gives his body time to heal up. And as a result, okay, he's ready to go during fight time. So I wouldn't put too much on this. I would say though that if you're a gambling person, man, you should probably want to keep your money in your pocket for this particular fight, man, because this thing can absolutely positively go either way with between the two of these guys. Canelo Alvarez is an exceptional fighter, much bigger than Terence Crawford is, or been fighting at a much bigger weight class than Terence Crawford has been fighting at, and much more experienced at that level at 168 pounds. But Terence Crawford is just such a superb fighter and such an intelligent fighter in there that you can know that he's going to be coming there to fight, and he's got a significant chance to win that fight. Unless, of course, that injury is real. I mean, and it is significant and is preventing him from, really sitting down on his punches, because he's going to have to at a point in time with Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something to get him up off it.
Keith Thurman has offered a grounded perspective on the highly anticipated clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged that while Canelo isn't undefeated, that doesn't make him any less dangerous. According to Thurman, every fighter has flaws, but recognizing them and being able to exploit them are two very different things. That he emphasized that Canelo's combination of experience, skill, and toughness makes him a formidable opponent who should never be underestimated. In Thurman's view, Canelo's losses haven't diminished him. Instead, they've helped mold him into a more complete and battle-tested fighter. Thurman warned that simply labeling Canelo as beatable doesn't automatically translate to victory for Crawford. To win, Crawford will need to reach a level he's never shown before, especially against an opponent with Canelo's size, strength, and championship pedigree.
An unbeatable fighter. That's fine. None of us are really unbeatable, right? But people got to understand this. Mm-hmm. Canelo Alvarez is not an unbeatable fighter. The question is, whoever he's fighting, we don't question what Canelo's going to do, right? We question what his opponents are going to do, right? It's not even really about Canelo. Canelo's going to show up as Canelo Alvarez, right? Ginger boy. So the question is, are you going to beat him? And are you going to beat him today? Like when fight night happens, is it you and is it now? You ready to beat him now? He's not unbeatable. Maybe you can beat him, but are you going to do it? And are you going to do it now? You feel me? Because I thought Danny Jacobs was going to have a way better performance.
Danny actually performed well against Canelo, but he didn't take any chances. He was doing just enough to not get beaten.
And Canelo was feeling himself. Canelo had preparation. He had that head movement, losing to Floyd, this and that. He fought some flat-footed fighters. He got used to getting his head here and there and ducking down and then pulling out and spinning out and little tactics. I've never seen somebody make Danny Jacobs miss so many punches. It was highly impressive. I did not expect that, because the amateur pedigree growing up with Danny Jacobs. I know exactly what kind of New York fight.
Recent footage of a face-off between Crawford and Canelo has drawn significant attention. Surprisingly, Crawford appeared larger than many expected, standing nearly equal in size to Canelo. This is notable since Canelo is traditionally known for his strength and stocky build in higher weight classes. Crawford's apparent increase in size has sparked debate about how effectively he has gained muscle mass. Some view this as a positive indicator that Crawford has successfully bulked up, while others caution that size alone doesn't guarantee strength or stamina. The real challenge will be whether he can carry this added weight naturally in the ring without losing speed. While a bigger frame might help intimidate opponents, the ultimate test will be how his body performs across 12 rounds.
With that said, they're going to face off in an epic showdown. And the big talk, obviously, is the size difference, right? That Canelo Alvarez is much bigger than the smaller Terence Bud Crawford, who is essentially coming up from 147 in the minds of many. But really and truly, he's coming up from 154 because he actually had a fight at 154, a titled opportunity, his only fight at 154 last August when he took on Israel Madrimov, okay? And he beat Israel Madrimov, unanimous decision, to become a 4-division champion. But as you see here in this photo, there's not a big size difference. And actually, obviously, we know Terence Crawford stands at 5'8", got a 74-inch arm reach. Canelo stands at 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach. There's not a massive size difference at all whatsoever. Now, clearly, as you see, Terence Crawford clearly has on what looks like Balenciaga shoes, and we know they are extremely big shoes, and they make you slightly taller. And Canelo Alvarez has on flats. The thing here is, the more important thing is, not if Terence Crawford can take Canelo Alvarez's punches. It's not if Terence Crawford, is going to get bullied around the ring. The concern with the weight is how Terence Crawford carries it himself. Does he start to fatigue in the second half of the fight? Should he get to the second half of the fight?